You know, we all have those moments when our feelings get so big, so intense, it feels like they're about to completely take over. We might feel like shouting or crying, or maybe just shutting down. And hey, that's a totally normal part of being human. The great news is, there's some pretty simple ways to handle it. Let's dive in. You know exactly what I'm talking about, right? That rising heat, the pressure just building up and up inside until you feel like you just can't hold it in for one more second. If that sounds familiar, well, you're in exactly the right place. Because what if you could actually learn how to handle that heat? Today, we're going to walk through a simple but really powerful framework for managing those huge feelings before they turn into an explosion. So to start, let's use a really powerful metaphor, the idea that we all have a kind of volcano inside of us. And to really get what that means, we're going to follow a little story. Okay, so meet Omar. He has just spent a long time, piece by piece, building his absolute favorite, most amazing block tower. I mean, it is a work of art. And then it happens. His little sister comes running by, maybe just a little too close, and crash. The tower is completely gone. In that one instant, all of Omar's hard work, his frustration, his disappointment, it all comes pouring out. And that right there, that split-second reaction, the yelling, that is the eruption. It's this sudden, massive release of all that built-up emotional energy, and it almost always happens before we even get a chance to think. And this is where that volcano metaphor is so useful. See, our bodies give us warning signs. That heat you feel rising, maybe your fists clench up, your heart starts beating faster. Those are the rumbles before the eruption. They aren't the problem, they're signals. They're telling you, hey, it's time to cool down. And oh man, this is the part so many of us can relate to, right? The regret that hits you after the explosion. Omar didn't want to yell at his sister. The issue wasn't that he was a bad kid. It was just that in that moment, he simply didn't have the tools to manage how huge his feelings were. So, what are those tools? Well, that's where we get to a really practical, super easy to remember strategy, the cool down plan. It's honestly as simple as 1, 2, 3. First, you just pause. Stop everything you're doing and take one big, deep breath. Second, you step back. Physically move away from whatever is happening to give yourself a little space. And third, once you start to feel that calm coming back, you talk. You use your words to explain what happened. And while you're in that step back phase, there are some specific tools you can pull out of your toolbox. Taking 3 slow, deliberate breaths, that sends a direct signal to your nervous system to just chill out. A simple self-reassurance, like putting your hand on your heart and telling yourself, I'm safe, can be incredibly grounding. And for some of us, just drawing or writing down the feeling helps our brain process it without needing to erupt. And the result? It's totally transformative. The next time Omar felt that volcano getting warm, he actually tried it. He paused, he took his deep breaths, and when he was calm, he was able to go to his sister and just say, that made me sad. And instead of a big fight, it led to them building the tower again, this time together. Now, this whole idea leads us to a really crucial shift in our thinking. What if our feelings weren't these enemies we had to defeat? What if they were actually trying to tell us something important? I absolutely love this quote. It just reframes the entire experience, doesn't it? Instead of gearing up for a fight with some big, scary monster, you're just opening a letter. Your feelings have valuable information inside if you're just willing to listen. So the difference in approach is everything. You know, if you see your feelings as monsters, you try to fight them or ignore them or shove them down, which, let's be honest, usually just makes the volcano build up even more pressure. But seeing them as messengers, that invites curiosity. It lets you ask, okay, what is this feeling actually trying to tell me? So let's look at a couple of examples. Anger? Well, anger often carries the message that a boundary has been crossed or that something feels deeply unfair. And sadness? Sadness is often telling you that you've lost something or that you're missing something important. When you listen, you can actually address the real issue, not just the loud emotion on the surface. Okay, so let's bring all of this together now. Let's recap the skills that help you become the master of your very own inner volcano. You can really think of these as your superpowers. You have the power to pause before you react. You have the power to use your own breath to calm your body. And you have the power to use kind words to say what you mean. These aren't complicated things, but wow, are they effective.
And that's the ultimate goal, isn't it? It's all about gaining that sense of agency. It's not about never feeling anger or sadness again, of course not. It's about being in the driver's seat, so those emotions don't get to dictate your actions and your words.
Let's end on this really powerful idea. The goal here is not perfection. You're still going to have moments where your volcano gets warm. The real skill, the real growth, comes from getting better and better at noticing the heat and knowing exactly what to do to cool things down. Look, this isn't just a theory, it's a practice. So the question to take with you is this. The next time you feel that heat rising, which tool are you going to reach for first? Because you absolutely have the power to choose. You've got this.